headlines of this hour on VTV News. The 44th and 45th ASEAN Summit commences in Vientiane, Laos. And Vietnam aims to achieve 3,000 kilometers of expressways by 2025. In our world news, Florida residents evacuate as Hurricane Milton makes landfall.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning in to VTV News. I'm VIENTIANE with the top stories. The 44th and 45th ASEAN Summits and related meetings officially opened in Vientiane, Laos on Wednesday morning. Leaders from ASEAN countries, Timor-Leste, and various international partners and organizations attended the event. Prime Minister Phie led the Vietnamese delegation attending the opening ceremony. In his opening speech, Lao Prime Minister Sonse Sivadan emphasized the 2024 theme, ASEAN Enhancing Connectivity and Resilience, and highlighted the implementation of 9 priorities and the development of strategies for the ASEAN Community Vision 2045. In light of global challenges like conflicts and climate change, he expressed confidence in ASEAN's ability to achieve success through cooperation. Following the opening ceremony, Prime Minister Phie participated in the plenary session. He expressed gratitude for the support from ASEAN nations following Typhoon Yagi's impact on Vietnam and other countries. The Prime Minister underscored the importance of solidarity in ASEAN and also outlined 3 key directions for future development. These include enhancing strategic self-reliance, improving connectivity, and fostering innovation as vital drivers for ASEAN's growth and competitiveness in the global arena. Now, during the 38th session, the National Assembly Standing Committee reviewed the government's report on the Socio-Economic Development Plan for 2024 and the projected plan for 2025. Despite facing significant challenges, including severe natural disasters, Vietnam's socio-economic situation continues to recover and develop. It is expected to meet or exceed 14 out of 15 key targets for 2024. GDP growth for the first 9 months has surpassed 6.8%, gaining positive assessments from international organizations regarding growth prospects. The National Assembly urged the government to implement solutions to control inflation, non-performing loans, and risk in the stock market, corporate bonds, and real estate sectors. By 2025, Vietnam aims to have 3,000 kilometers of expressways and plans to promptly initiate the North-South high-speed railway project. The government will also focus on improving citizens' living standards, especially for the poor and policy beneficiaries, while intensifying efforts to combat corruption and waste. The Business Confidence Index in the third quarter has risen to 52, up from 45.1 during the same period last year, according to Eurocharm Business Confidence Index report. This positive trend highlights the resilience and adaptability of the Vietnamese economy and the European business community operating in the country, despite recent economic challenges posed by Typhoon Yagi. The report underscores that these figures represent not just numbers, but a broader picture of Vietnam's emergence as a strategic business hub. Additionally, it reveals that over 47% of surveyed businesses believe the macroeconomic situation in Vietnam will improve in the upcoming quarter. Longan Province has successfully attracted over 110 investment projects, including more than 70 foreign direct investment (FDI) initiatives, totaling over $500 million in capital. The province's strategic planning has laid the groundwork for Longan to distinguish itself, facilitating capital flow and drawing in new investors.
A German company has chosen the Hữu Thạnh Industrial Park to inaugurate its industrial gas plant. This is their first facility in the Mekong Delta region, covering 20,000 square meters with an initial investment of nearly $25,000 US.
The administrative procedures are clear and transparent on the province's public service portal. For FDI companies like ours, we can quickly check and complete the necessary paperwork.
Longan stands out as one of the pioneers in implementing a fully digital platform for all administrative procedures.
The province clearly outlines investment sectors and offers attractive incentives for high-tech machinery manufacturing. Longan really excels in efficiency, management, and transparency.
This year alone, the Hilltech Industrial Park has attracted new investments covering over 20 hectares, accounting for 70% of Longan Province's total new rental area.
We assist investors in promptly locating suppliers for materials. When problems arise, we collaborate with investors to resolve them immediately.
By 2025, we'll inaugurate several new roads connecting Long An to Ho Chi Minh City. We are committed to retaining businesses as they can drive significant growth across various enterprise ecosystems.
In the first 9 months of 2024, the province welcomed nearly 1,900 new enterprises, with total registered capital exceeding $660 million, an increase of 22.26% in capital and 41.5% in the number of businesses compared to the same period last year.
Vietnam's seafood exports in the first 9 months reached $7.2 billion, up nearly 10% compared to the same period last year. This rebound follows 4 years of disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, conflicts, and inflation. Markets are also gradually stabilizing. In the third quarter, export value exceeded $2.7 billion, rising 13% year-on-year. Key products show remarkable growth, including trout fish up 13.5%, shrimp up 17.5%, crab up 56%, and shellfish up 95%. Although frozen shrimp exports continue to face challenges due to fluctuating prices and competitive pressure from Ecuadorian and Indian shrimp, processed shrimp from Vietnam maintains a strong position in international markets. Overall, shrimp exports accounted for nearly $2.8 billion, an increase of 10.5% compared to the same period last year. Aquaculture activities are forecast to face significant challenges, particularly in the wake of Typhoon number 3's devastation. Hundreds of thousands of tons of seedlings were swept away, and infrastructure was severely damaged. While rebuilding will take time, local farmers are determined to restore operations wherever possible. Efforts are underway to ensure supply for the year-end market, with authorities and businesses stepping in to support recovery.
In the waters of Van Don district, the Ngoc Thang cooperative has taken swift action to begin farming mollusks such as clams, oysters, and snails. These species require no feed costs and yield products quickly, providing a short-term solution to recover from the storm's impact.
We're recovering little by little. It's going to be challenging to reclaim our year's worth of effort, though.
Unlike pandemics, natural disasters bring about widespread damage. You can establish quarantine zones to contain viruses, but natural disasters will render all efforts useless. At this age, it's tough to do it all again. I think there should be support policies from the government.
However, securing seed stock remains a significant issue for businesses and cooperatives. Authorities are assessing damage and planning to have seed stock transported from the central and southern regions to the northern provinces.
Products like shrimp and seaweed are quick to grow and harvest, so we can start with that. For long-term farming, we've identified localities with and without abundant seedling stock so that we can mobilize and distribute resources to the required locations into early 2025.
We've had credit solutions at our disposal, meaning that we have worked with local banks to offer loans with preferential, near-zero interest rates. Farmers can also mortgage their production plans to secure funding. All of this aims to provide farmers with adequate funding for business and production.
While the northern provinces have been hit hard by Typhoon Yagi, the southern provinces have recorded stable aquaculture production. Key seafood producing regions in the south have posted significant growth, supplying raw materials for exports and helping maintain the sector's momentum as the year draws to a close.
The Hanoi Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has called on businesses to support households affected by Typhoon Yagi with vegetable seeds, fertilizers, and probiotic cleaning products. This initiative is taking place in 4 districts: Thường Tín, Ứng Hòa, Quốc Oai, and Dan Phượng. To date, companies have provided 8 tons of organic fertilizers, 1,300 packages of microbial products for soil and livestock treatment, dozens of liters of environmental treatment chemicals, and over 100 kilograms of various vegetable seeds to residents. Additionally, cooperatives are offering technical consulting, supplying new seeds, and providing financial assistance to help families restore their agricultural production. The Cham community in Milton Province is pioneering a significant transformation in agricultural practices by overhauling their crop structures and farming methods. The adoption of innovative cultivation techniques not only boosts productivity, but also enhances resilience against unpredictable weather patterns. This shift is paving the way for stable incomes and improving the living standards of local residents.
By adopting advanced agricultural practice, farmers in Phú Lạc, Bình Thuận are effectively tackling challenges in weather and soil conditions posed by abundant sunlight and limited rainfall. This approach not only reduces reliance on pesticides, but also promotes organic production, elevating the value of agricultural products.
With the greenhouse setup and sprinkler irrigation, I can cultivate clean apples year-round. Whether it's rainy or sunny, I have control over my crops.
Green apples are increasingly becoming a vital crop in the mountainous areas of Bình Thuận Province. Yield and cultivation areas are on the rise, primarily due to the lower investment costs involved in growing green apples. Currently, various cooperatives in Bình Thuận are striving to establish a sustainable supply chain for fresh fruit. However, farmers face significant challenges in price competition and production costs as they seek to scale their operations.
Although I have gained the skills to produce clean apples, ensuring consistent quality and stabilizing market prices remains a major concern.
We are encouraging farmers to join cooperatives to help stabilize their product supply and strengthen their market presence.
In this sun-drenched land, farmers' commitment to cultivating sweet fruits reflects their determination. To ensure sustained growth and stability in crop production, it is crucial to implement supportive policies and strategic planning that align with market needs.
Now, before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rates of today, October 9th. Coming up next on VTV News. Ho Chi Minh City launches nearly 40,000 social housing units. And Hanoi residents emotionally recall a victorious day via photos. Now moving on to other news, Ho Chi Minh City is processing 27 social housing projects set to provide nearly 40,000 units. To date, 6 projects have been completed, totaling over 2,700 apartments. This rapid progress stems from innovative implementation solutions. Previously, the project procedures involve separate reviews by the Department of Planning and Architecture, followed by approval from the Department of Planning and Investment, and finally, land recovery steps from the Department of Natural Resources and Environment. The new streamlined process enables these departments to collaborate from the outset, with the Department of Construction and local districts handling subsequent steps. This approach significantly reduces timelines. Ho Chi Minh City aims to create 93,000 social housing units by 2030. To fulfill the government's goal of eliminating temporary and dilapidated houses nationwide by 2025, the Ministry of Public Security has been one of the pioneering units that provides support for poor households across the country. Nearly 1,300 new houses have been provided for poor families and disadvantaged people in Phước Hưng Commune, Trà Vinh Province. The inauguration and handover ceremony was held by the Ministry of Public Security and Trà Vinh authorities on Tuesday.
Since the beginning of this year, Trà Vinh authorities have provided financial and material support for poor families. Nearly 3,550 new houses have been built to help poor residents improve their living conditions.
I don't have to live in poor conditions now. I'm very happy to live in a new house. Since 2021, we have built new houses to replace dilapidated ones for poor residents, regardless of whether they are entitled to preferential policies or not. We have built 6,000 new houses so far.
The Ministry of Public Security has raised over $28 million USD nationwide for repairing and building houses. After 2 months, about 1,300 new houses were completed and handed over to people in need in Trà Vinh Province.
The government's program on the elimination of temporary and dilapidated houses is very meaningful and inspiring. We'll try our best to fulfill the government's order.
Minister of Public Security Lung Tam Quang recognized and applauded the achievements of local police in accelerating the elimination of temporary and dilapidated houses in Trà Vinh Province.
Hanoi's Liberation Day is a pivotal moment in Vietnam's history, symbolizing the country's triumph over French colonialism and marking the beginning of a new era for the capital city. 70 years have passed. Veterans and Hanoians who lived through a wartime still remember the historic moments when locals pour into the streets around Hoàn Kiếm Lake to greet the victorious Vietnamese troops.
This footage captures the reenactment of Vietnamese soldiers returning to the capital city on October 10, 1954. After the victory of the Dien Bien Phu battle in May, 5 months later, Hanoi was free from French occupation forces, marking an important milestone in Vietnam's 9-year war of resistance for independence. Dung Thu Minh recalled unforgettable memories when Hanoi's streets brightened from the colorful flowers and national flags used to welcome the Vietnamese troops.
Hanoians were very happy to welcome the Vietnamese troops on October 10th. French troops were forced to retreat. We no longer lived under French colonial rule. That was the happiest moment of my life.
Chi Minh said we would march into Hanoi to take over the capital from the French forces. It was my great honor to be a part of the Vietnamese troops entering the capital city after 60 days of fierce fighting.
French troops fired artillery shells from warships in the Red River in 1882, leaving gaping holes in the citadel's north gate. This place was also where the first flag salute ceremony was held on October 10, 1954, after Hanoi was liberated from French colonialism.
After the siren sounded, we looked up at the citadel's north gate in happiness while admiring the national flag. How wonderful it was. For many years, we had seen the French flag everywhere in the city.
The war ended, marking 2 implications. The Vietnamese troops won on the battlefield, and Hanoians reclaimed their capital city. The October victory is a symbol of the Vietnamese people's victory in the 9-year resistance war against the French colonialists. The victory also fulfilled the Vietnamese people's strong desire for peace, freedom, and independence for nearly a century.
70 years ago, the arrival of Vietnamese soldiers filled local people with joy and happiness. Thousands of Hanoians poured into the streets to greet the victorious military forces. They were proud to be descendants of a revolutionary generation.
70 years have passed since the liberation forces marched triumphantly into Hanoi, marking a historic turning point in the city's history. October 10, 1954 remains etched into the memories of many, with photographs and documents capturing the atmosphere of that unforgettable day. Among the countless images, some hold a special significance. preserving not just the nation's history, but also the personal stories of families in Hanoi's Old Quarter, families who witnessed and contributed to the city's resilience.
On Hangdao Street, a 12-year-old girl named Huang Lanhung stood among the crowd, watching the soldiers return as heroes. Now at 82, she still remembers the thrill of that day.
My father, who worked undercover during the resistance campaign, was overjoyed when the capital was freed. He told us to go to Hangma Street to buy colorful paper, and my sister and I stayed up all night making decorations. The next morning, the streets were full of celebration. I was too small to see over the crowd, but excitement was everywhere.
Her neighbor, Lê Siu, then a 17-year-old boy, grabbed his camera and captured the moment the army marched down Hanoi streets.
At first, there were just a few soldiers, but soon the streets were filled with them. Everyone knew that this was the real government, the one that had fought for our independence.
That historical photograph later became a cherished family treasure, especially since it captured his younger brother, who would go on to join the Liberation Army and make the ultimate sacrifice in the South.
Standing next to me on the sidewalk that historic day was my younger brother, who later joined the Liberation Army marching south. He ultimately sacrificed his life in the war. We were unable to relocate his burial site, so this photo became more precious than anything.
In another home in the Old Quarter, a photograph of Dr. Hoàng Thụy Ba, head of the Northern Vietnam Medical Association, presenting flowers to President Ho Chi Minh during a citizens' gathering at the Bắc Bộ Palace, still hangs in a place of honor. The photograph was a gift from Dr. Trần Duy Hưng, former deputy chairman of Hanoi's Military Administration Committee.
President Ho Chi Minh always cared deeply for the people of Hanoi. He once said that the citizens of the capital must become role models for the entire country. My father took it upon himself to follow those words with diligence and respect throughout his life.
There are moments in Hanoi's history that will never fade, even after 70 years. While many of Hanoi's sons and daughters sacrificed their lives, new generations continue to uphold the spirits of patriotism. They are building a stronger, more open Hanoi, one that embraces the modern world while preserving the timeless essence of a city steeped in millennia of history and culture.
The Sin Suối Ho Community Tourism Village in Longan Province has emerged as a popular destination, drawing numerous visitors from near and far. The beehive houses, ingeniously crafted by local residents, feature unique designs that harmonize with nature. These structures leave a lasting impression on tourists who come to explore and relax.
Driven by the desire to create job opportunities for family members and draw tourists to the village, Hang Asa constructed 12 beehive houses. Each uniquely designed structure is named after different species of bees, sparking curiosity and inviting exploration among visitors. Every year, Sa's family welcomes thousands of tourists to Sin Suối Ho.
Visitors here can explore and experience sleeping in beehive houses, which I am sure can attract many guests.
The beehive houses have become popular for both day trips and overnight stays. Visitors to Sin Suối Ho are captivated by the picturesque scenery, with the village resembling a natural painting amid pristine, majestic mountains. These unique structures offer memorable experiences and have become popular photo spots for young travelers.
I really enjoy the atmosphere and the cultural aspects of the village. It's clean, the people are friendly, and the beehive house has made me feel comfortable and at home.
Many households have come up with innovative ideas, including Sa's innovative beehive and birdhouse accommodations. This has significantly boosted tourism numbers in our village.
Through the collaboration, creativity, and determination of local residents, Sin Suối Ho was honored as the Outstanding Community Tourism Village of 2019 by the Vietnam Tourism Association. The village also received accolades at the Asean Tourism Awards 2023 in Indonesia, further cementing its status as a rising star in the region's tourism landscape.
Coming up next in our world news. Florida residents evacuate as Hurricane Milton makes landfall. In China to impose temporary anti-dumping measures on EU brandy imports. Now moving on to our world news. After weakening slightly, Hurricane Milton regained strength Tuesday afternoon, becoming a Category 5 storm again with winds of 260 kilometers per hour. It's forecast to make landfall on Florida's west coast Wednesday night or Thursday morning, moving at 15 kilometers per hour. In the Tampa Bay area, forecasters warn of up to 250 millimeters of rain and a storm surge of up to 4.5 meters, noting that the region faces an extreme flooding rain threat. So far, more than 5 million Florida residents have been evacuated to safety. U.S. President Joe Biden is postponing his upcoming trip to Germany and Angola to handle preparations for Hurricane Milton. China's Ministry of Commerce announced Tuesday that it will impose temporary anti-dumping measures on brandy originating in the European Union or EU, effective from October 11th. This move comes in response to the European Commission's recent vote to approve a tax hike of up to 45% on electric vehicles from China. According to China's Ministry of Commerce, Beijing has found evidence of dumping practices involving certain imported brandy from the EU. It added that the domestic brandy industry is under substantial threat of damage. According to China's new list of tariffs, importers of EU-originating brandy must place deposits with Chinese customs based on dumping margins of between 30.6% and 39%. The EU swiftly opposed Beijing's decision and warned that it may file a complaint with the World Trade Organization. The European Commission has proposed the new EU digital travel app for travelers to create and store their digital travel credentials. This is part of the efforts to digitalize passports and identity cards for anyone entering or leaving the Schengen area, speed up border controls, and ensure smoother travel. The EU digital travel app will allow travelers to create and store their digital travel credentials, including the information contained in the chip of the passport or ID card, but not their fingerprints. Travelers can submit their documents to the border authorities in advance to speed up checks at the border, reducing the chances of fake documents. An estimated 600 million crossings were recorded at the EU's external borders. Now, as usual, let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.